This is Chris, the Idaho Painter here on Paint Live TV. Today we're hanging out in the office, got Journeyman John with me, and we got a really cool topic today. And this is good. A topic could save you lots of money. How to save money in paint stores with a whole list of items that we got right here. So I'm pretty excited to talk about this. What do you think, John?
I'm pretty excited. It's a bunch of different little things that when they start adding up can actually save you a substantial amount of money, whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or a professional painter who does this day in and day out.
Yep. If you like our videos, don't forget, hit that little notification bell. Please consider subscribing to our channel. You'll just get notifications every time we go live or have a new video come out. It's just a simple way to help support us. Subscribe to our channel. Cool. So here we go. We've got a whole list of really cool things to talk about. And I mean, one of the simple ones, we'll just scratch off the first one right here, Pro Buys. And Pro Buys is something, I think almost every paint store out there, contractor type paint store, does these things. And it's kind of like a little magazine, maybe 4 to 5 pages long, and it has just a list of things that are on sale. And I think a lot of the items aren't necessarily any cheaper on sale. They're kind of just highlighting them, but there's a handful of things in there that are like bulk buys and they can save you money.
Yeah.
And that Pro Buy, you can find that online. There's typically an online version, or if you walk into your paint store, they have them just sitting on the counter and you can flip them open and every now and then get a good deal.
And those kind of work in seasons, it seems like. So they'll have one for one season where they'll have certain things discounted, and it'll be a couple months usually, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So always shopping those deals is good. And speaking of shopping those deals, look out for like sales. A lot of these paint suppliers will have big sales. So like Sherwin-Williams has their 35% off bucket sale, and that's another great way to save money is when you look out for those sales. Sherwin-Williams does them like every twice a year, like once in the fall, once in the spring. And then I believe some of the other paint manufacturers do similar deals where they'll have kind of big blowout sales, right?
Yeah, those 35% off sales, we utilize those. They, like John said, a couple times a year they do them. And it's interesting because Sherwin-Williams calls it a bucket sale, and they have these blue 5-gallon buckets, and a lot of people assume it's only what you can fit in that bucket. And I remember the first few times they did it, I would throw a bunch of tips in there because you can save a ton of money on, say, Graco tips or Titan tips. And that's the cheapest you'll ever get one of those tips anywhere is on that 35% off sale. But what we realized is a lot of the Sherwin-Williams, they don't limit it to just a bucket. The last time we did our bucket sale, we ordered several pallets.
We did. Literally
pallets. I think we had like 3 pallets of stuff, and I think it was around $8,000 worth of product that we ordered on the bucket sale.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's going to vary from store to store and maybe manager to manager. It probably depends on the relationship you have with the store, but searching out those big, like semi-annual sales, that's a great time to stock up. I know it seems like a big chunk of change that you're spending at one time because $8,000 is a pretty big chunk. But when you start factoring in the fact that how much you save throughout the course of the year, it really does make sense. So what about like coupons? Like I know those things pop up every once in a while. So what can you tell us about coupons?
They do. So one thing is I know I just kind of did a search and I never knew until we got ready for this video. Sherwin-Williams website has coupons that you can get on the website, and it has just a link for coupons. And so go search your websites, whatever paint stores you have available to you, whether it's Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, Deluxe, PPG, Pratt & Lambert. Just look on their websites. A lot of times they're going to have just a link for a coupon, and those coupons are probably going to be a rotating coupon. And another thing I saw right by there was a military discount, and I never knew Sherwin-Williams had a military discount.
That's pretty cool.
And it's 15% off. Yeah. So if you just walk in there, I've been in the military in the past, but I've never tried to get military discounts. But I assume if you just walk in there and show them an ID card, you're going to get an automatic 15% off. So I'm sure you might find that with a lot of paint stores.
It seems like a lot of companies do things like that. And I think on the websites too, while you're there looking for the coupons, they usually have like email newsletters or things like that you can subscribe to, or like little text message notifications you can get. and they're always sending deals out for those kind of
Yeah.
things. So I know recently we just got one for like 40% off of a certain brand of extension poles.
Yeah.
That's a pretty killer deal, 40% off.
It's an absolute killer deal. So Sherwin-Williams has two programs. I think one of them is called Paint Perks, and another one's called is like Color to You. And so the Color to You is their mobile app alerts, and then the Paint Perks is email alerts. And so, you know, I get those by my phone. You get them on your phone and email and stuff, and they do send just absolute killer deals out on those. And like you said, the one was 40% off, but I get them quite maybe once every couple months where it's $20 off $100 or $10. So it's really just free money in your pocket, because we're going to the paint store every day anyways, and we're spending more than $100 a day.
Right.
So it's just like it'd be $20 and free in my pocket.
But again, it seems like little things, but over time, when you start factoring in, that 35% off sale, you're saving, maybe 20% if you're doing a $100 order, and that's $20 back. That's 20% off your order.
Yeah.
Like all these things really do start to add up over time.
And here's another one. This is just basically free money once again. And I don't know how many people are aware of it, and I don't know how many different paint companies, manufacturers do this, but I know Sherwin-Williams does this, and it's the 2% off if you pay your bill by the 10th of the month. And you just get a flat 2% right off your bill. And last month, Lisa called in by the 10th. She paid the bill. She always does it on exactly the 10th. And we saved $400 on the bill. So if you do the math, you could probably figure out how much paint we buy. But $200 or $400, that's a lot of money just on that month's paint bill.
Yeah, and that's just on making sure you stay ahead on your bill, and you're just taking advantage of all these little perks here and there.
So, John, a lot of people ask where we can get our shirts and hats. Where can you find those?
Our website.
theidahopainter.com.
They're cool. So theidahopainter.com, there are two little store things there. One's going to take you to Amazon, and that's going to have just a kind of a more broad range of all the different tools that we use. And you can buy those there. Usually you can get a pretty good price on Amazon. I use Amazon a lot, and it'll ship to you. Or we've got our Paint Life store that has things like our hat, shirts, and then tools that we feel like we've kind of collected together that are game-changing tools that things like the corner roller or the cardboard shield holder or the 5-in-1 or the 2-edge knife, different things like that you can check out, and that's at theidahopainter.com.
theidahopainter.com. Check it out. So, John, why don't you talk about, we were talking about just comparing prices and stuff, and I know we buy a lot from Sherwin-Williams just because it's really the only major local store that can supply our needs, but there is Home Depots and Lowe's and stuff like that. I know you've done some price comparisons and found cheaper prices, right?
Yeah, and that's the big thing is if you've got things, especially if you're a professional painting contractor and you have things that you're regularly buying at these paint suppliers, so I know it can be a pain, but sometimes you just got to go around and shop it out. Look at your local hardware stores, look at some of the box stores. A lot of times those places, if you kind of look kind of from the side in some ways, you can find things like respirator filters for almost half the cost that you would get them at a paint supplier, because they're just buying more and so they can get a better price.
Yeah, just don't assume just because you're a contractor and you're going to a predominantly contractor paint store like Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore or some of those stores, Kelly Moore, don't assume you're just getting a better price. And I used to assume just Home Depot was always going to be more expensive. But I did hear, we did a live show here just recently, and some people told me that Home Depot will give you an automatic 20% off if you're a contractor, if you go in there and ask for it. And I think you got to fill out some paperwork. And I never knew that. I always assumed Home Depot did not cater towards contractors and didn't give you a discount, but a whole bunch of people said they do, and 20% is quite a bit of savings.
Yeah, and I think it's the same thing if you go somewhere like Lowe's. They've got their pro contractor deals.
And typically, if you're a contractor, if you're just starting out new business, you're going to walk into your local paint store and you're going to fill out an application to buy paint on credit, and they're going to give you what they call contractor pricing, and they're going to give you kind of like this, a flat, discount rate on all your products. But I've had a lot of experience with getting the prices lower, and so have you. So don't everybody typically has a rep, don't they? And can't you talk to the rep and get your lower prices?
You can talk to the rep. You can figure out if there's any room to go lower, especially in products that you buy in bulk or in volume. So if there's a certain line of paint that you buy a lot of times you can negotiate a lower price. And that really just comes down to asking, just saying, hey, look, this is what we're paying for this product, or this is what we're paying for this sundry. Can we get it any lower? And a lot of times, I think depending on the relationship with your rep, you can kind of work those prices down. It seems like they always come back up eventually, but continuing to ask and work those prices down really pays in the end too.
Yeah, because I noticed, I mean, I've been buying paint from, one of the paint stores here for 17 years or so, and they're pretty notorious for, continuing to increase their prices, multiple times a year. So what I've become accustomed to do is be notorious for asking for decreases in prices on specific products. And some of the products we're getting, at least 40% off retail price. And we would never get that if we didn't ask. I think one of the standards is to give you across the board a 15% discount. Just by filling out a contractor form, you'll get that.
Yeah, there are some paint lines that we're getting around a 50% discount off of. And so it really is just about knowing your market, knowing your area. I know there are certain markets where the shipping costs are less, and so they're able to get product in the hands of painters a little bit cheaper than other places. So ask, work that price around, and see what you can come up with.
Yeah, and when we don't have a Benjamin Moore like really locally accessible to us here, but just in preparing for this video, I looked on Benjamin Moore's website. They have a contractor rewards program, and that's I think it's like kind of third party. But what's that all about, John?
So with that, they have some things set up where you can basically upload, I think it's your invoices or your receipts from whatever you buy at somewhere like Benjamin Moore. I'm not sure who else they do it for. And they use, I'm assuming, the data from that to do whatever they do. Yeah. But they basically kick you back free products. I've heard of guys who get like Apple Watches and things like that. And so again, those are just little perks, little things you can do that in a way kind of help bring that cost down.
Here's one of the last things I wanted to talk about
this is like a secret almost, right?
This is
you're blowing the lid off of it.
This is top secret, and I'm sure a lot of paint companies don't want you to know this, but I don't think there should be a whole lot of secrets here, and I'm going to share this, and it's kickbacks. And so there is a such thing as kickbacks, and not very many painters get them because not very many painters know about them. And I'm not going to tell you how much kickback I get from the paint store that we get it from, but I didn't know about it. I was buying paint for about 12 years at least or more before I even heard through the grapevine that you can get kickbacks. And then when I approached the paint company about it, they kind of hem-hawed around about it and didn't want to do it, but I kind of pressed it and forced it. And it's not at the local level. It has to be okayed at the corporate level, but it was okay. Came back and it's like a 3-page contract, and I get this kickback every year in this one large check. And it's kind of nice. It's like comes around the Christmas time. That's a way to pay Christmas presents or buy Christmas presents. And what was interesting is I thought I was getting a decent kickback. And when we went to the PDCA show in Texas, I was talking to a painter who shared with me what he was getting as a kickback, and he was getting twice as much as I was getting, and he was doing less volume what I was doing. And he just told me how he got it doubled by, he just went in there and demanded more and said, I'll go buy some paint somewhere else if you don't give me more, and they gave him more. So go ask about it. Approach your rep, approach your district manager, and ask them, what do you have available for kickbacks, and see what you can get.
And I think really a lot of these things come down to just asking. If you're a do-it-yourself or a homeowner who's working on painting your own house and you walk in, a lot of times you can just ask, hey, is there any sort of contractor discount I can get or I can sign up for? Yeah. And a lot of times right there, they're going to knock down a certain percentage. Same with if you're a contractor, just asking. Sometimes that just pays.
So there's a whole list of things right there that can save you a whole lot of money if you're willing to ask. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you had, like I say, please consider giving us a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to our channel. And we got anything else you want to share, John?
You know what? I love reading the well, not all the comments. Sometimes I look at the comments and I just roll my eyes, honestly. But if you have other ideas for how to get the prices down, things you've heard, put them in the comments below, because we learn from that, other painters learn from that, other do-it-yourselfers, and we just want to share the knowledge here. That's what we're all about.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas for upcoming videos, we would like that. Just leave some ideas down there, because we like to produce content that you want to see. There you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and like we always say, we'll see you on our next video.